Brian Whitlow.
Brandon's. Hello, Windows. Spivey.
All right. And we are the Markout Movie Podcast. On today's episode, we're doing. Did I spell it right?
Yeah.
Totally Killer. It's a movie that's now on Amazon Prime. It came out this year. I don't have my iPad in front of me, so I can't tell you the name of anybody that's in the movie. But
Lachlan Monroe plays the father of the main girl.
And where did you know him from?
Dead Man on Campus was the first thing I ever seen him in, but Freddy vs. Jason. He's in Riverdale, a little bit of Riverdale.
Unfortunately, he's in the very beginning of Dracula 2000. He's in.
Oh yeah.
He was just in the beginning, right?
Yeah, he's the first one that died.
Yep.
See, the movie was so forgettable. I forgot he was in it. Oh man, yeah, terrible. But I like him in this.
Yeah.
I wish I could have seen him more, but we had to go back in time.
And the mother in this show, in this movie, is the same mom from Modern Family. I don't remember her name. Yeah, she's in Modern Family. She's married to Phil in the show Modern Family. Claire, her name's Claire in Modern Family.
The podcast guy, the tour guide, I've only seen him in one other movie, but it was Jason X as the professor. So he just wants his machete back.
Oh, that's him. That's him. It is him. Yeah. Oh wow.
And so I kind of marked out for him the most because he was in Jason X.
Yeah.
Classic line. He just wanted his machete.
He's okay, guys. He just wanted his machete back. Yeah, I remember that. And then also the daughter, I don't know the actress name, but she is in the new Sabrina series. Just on Netflix. I haven't seen it either, but she's in there. I think she's been in a couple other things, but that's where I know her primarily from is from that being in that show. But I've never seen that show, but I know that she's in it. But I thought she did a excellent job in this movie. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fun. I love anything, huh?
It's like you enjoyed it. You were looking forward to this.
Yeah, I like I like time travel type of movies.
I like what's his name says though when they get back into the 1987. It never makes sense. I hate time travel movies. They never make sense.
Yeah, Randall Park or whatever his name. What's his real name? Is his name Randall Park?
Yeah.
Or is that or is it a character they played?
No, that's his name.
Okay, Randall Park. Okay, just checking. Yeah, I liked him in the movie. I like when he pops up and stuff. By the way,
yeah.
I enjoy seeing him. But yeah, the movie's about like back in 1987. There was a killer by the name of the Sweet 16 Killer who murdered 3 women, and the 4th friend essentially survived, and has lived. She lived her life, but she lived almost like a Jamie Lee Curtis or Laurie Strode, in a sense of in preparation for the day that he will come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, and then like the daughter who's Gen Z is she's like, Mom, get over it. But then the killer comes back, kills the mom and the daughter now, and then starts chasing the daughter, and the daughter enters a time machine and inadvertently is returned back to 1987 and Back to the Future, but slasher.
Yeah. I didn't. Okay. I didn't hate the movie. I just want to say that, but it made me want to go back and watch Back to the Future. I don't know. I felt like I've seen this before. I don't know. It's what I got from it, but I like the idea. I love the concept that this person killed 3 people in the 80s, and 35 years later, he's come back and he's come back to finish the job, and she gets transferred back to 1987. I love that concept. I just felt it fell a little short for me, but I know you're very excited, so I'm gonna let you
Yeah.
run
Well,
with what you
it,
really liked about it.
what I was excited about the first of all the concept of a slack like a I love those little that this little subgenre of horror movies where it's taking well-known tropes and interjecting them into horror elements.
Yeah.
In most of the parts, they're interjecting them into slasher element, slasher genre, the most because you think about Happy Death Day is the Groundhog Day
Mm-hmm.
scenario, but in a horror in a slasher film, which worked. The first one worked. The second one is debatable if it worked, but the first one for sure worked.
See, I like
Um,
the second one a lot better than the first one.
did you?
Yeah.
Oh wow! I would like to revisit those because to see. Yeah, I love to revisit those. And then Freaky takes that body swap
Mm-hmm.
genre like Freaky Friday, uh uh what was it, Father and Son or whatever, well, Kirk Cameron or whatever.
Where him and the father switch.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't
Dudley,
remember the name.
with him and Dudley Moore. Dudley Moore's his
Yeah,
dad in
I
it.
can't remember the name of it, but I know the movie you're speaking of.
And then there's 16 again. And then there's like other movies like that. But anyway, it takes that element and just turns it into a slasher film, which it worked with Vince Vaughn,
Oh, good.
and
Yes.
yeah, that was really good. Uh, and this one, I, I will say that it seems like it's great concept.
I love the
Um,
concept.
yeah, and I think that it 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 didn't stick the landing completely, but it was fun. It was a fun time. But
Yeah,
it
I mean,
just,
I would.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm not gonna give it like a bad score or nothing. I enjoyed it. It just, I think maybe it's the cast, the younger cast from
mm,
the '80s, just didn't work as well as me because I was really into it at the beginning, and then we get to the '80s. She works. The main girl works. She's the best
yeah.
part of the movie.
She's
Clearly.
very what is it like you're pulled to her. You're
Yeah,
pulled to
yeah,
her character and you follow her. You
yeah,
root for her.
yeah.
So
You root for. Yeah, you're invested in her story. So yeah, she works. I just felt the other characters that were supposed to be playing the younger version of these characters just really didn't work. I didn't believe it's well, except the mom. I believe she would have turned into her, but the guy that's playing Lachlan Monroe's character, I did not believe that they
plus,
were the same person.
which one was that one?
Hey, that's her dad.
Okay,
I just
yeah.
didn't. I didn't buy that at all. But I do like the concept. That's fun, to dive into to dissect that. That's just a fun concept. Time travel in itself is fun. Then you throw time travel with a slasher movie. I mean, that's just gonna be fun. But I did want to get your opinion on the uh well, I don't want to spoil it, but uh,
Spoilers.
but
Well,
we'll get there. We'll get there. But what did you
uh,
think of the girl that's helping her out, which is her best friend's mom?
all right. So first of all, the concept that I thought I liked the idea that the time machine was a picture booth
Hmm.
type of photo booth thing. I
Yeah.
thought that was interesting. I thought it was interesting in a sense, but I love the final idea of what the time machine was uh, then.
Hmm.
But I thought that was interesting. I thought the older her friend from her friend from her generation was was not as compelling as her mother. I feel like her mother was supposed to be, I guess, kind of like the Doc Brown
Yeah.
to her Marty. And I thought that she's very likable. and it's just an interesting concept. Like this person essentially became your best friend back in 1987, and then like when you get back to your time frame, she like that carries over. Like we're still like I missed you. I wanted to see you, but you're still friends with her daughter now. It's just an interesting thing. I liked her. I thought she was good. Um, I thought she was good. Uh, but yeah, yeah. He's climbing on top of this truck, and it's alarming me.
Yeah, it's alarming.
Uh, yeah. But what was
Got
your
people.
thoughts on her?
I mean, I liked her. I do agree with the Doc Brown some similarity. She felt like a Doc Brown. She felt more yeah, a scientist type character than her best friend. Her best friend didn't really seem like she knew what she was actually doing. Just
Hmm.
got lucky, and still in her
Yeah,
mom's notes.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
I didn't feel like she was a brilliant scientist by any means, but
The,
her mom,
the her mom
yes,
was.
yes, yeah. But yeah, we both agree that Randall Park was really good in a limited role. I wish we could have seen more of him. What did you
I
think of
don't
the?
believe like his daughter. I don't believe. Now I would say this as far as comparing the younger versions of the older people in the present day. I would say that the daughter, Randall Park's daughter, I don't believe that that would be his daughter in the future because she seemed totally different than she was. She seemed more of a like her dad in the sense of like doesn't listen, feels like she's gonna fix everything herself. But she doesn't seem like she's a stoner in the past. So I
Yeah,
don't believe that that would be the same person. The principal who was the he was the like the geek guy. We ain't gonna reveal anything, but uh, I felt that the younger him was more interesting than the older him.
yeah,
Uh,
I agree.
and then the younger jock guy, he was the most probably one of the most annoying characters in the movie. I just didn't like him. I
I
didn't like him.
thought he was better as a younger guy, though.
Yeah,
He was more compelling. He wasn't a good character by any means, but
yeah,
he was tolerable. He was like a bully, but he was. I guess you could say he was the Biff, kind of
yeah,
character
yeah. I would
to a
say that.
degree, but not nearly as good. But
Right.
I think that's
Yeah.
what they were going for with him. He just, I don't
They
know. He
can't,
kind of missed the
can't
mark.
replace Biff. Biff Tannen is Biff Tannen, man.
Yeah, you,
He's that's a legendary character in cinema. So
yeah. I mean, you're not going to compete with that. But I felt that's what they were going for with him.
I would agree with you as far as with the dad, her father. The younger version of him is like a noodle of a character. It's just he was just there for the gag of. Yeah, he said I used to look like Zac Efron when I was a kid, when I
Yeah,
was younger, or something like just a guy with a six pack and everything. But other than that, he didn't have no layers to him. He was just you know. Uh, I wish that I wish that this movie needed to be longer. Um, to kind of spend more time with the parents and just kind of get a feel for it. But it's hard to do that with a slasher. Uh, and I think and honestly, I think it needed a more count. I think they've been, well, I guess it did technically get one more body count than it did. He got one more victim than he did initially,
yeah,
if you think about the ending. But yeah, I thought that just thinking about it now, I think that my biggest criticism was they should have did a better job with casting uh, the younger characters to be more to be to look like and to also be more identical to the older counterparts. Where you can believe that that's them.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Now,
saying?
I thought they did a pretty good job with the mom, though.
I agree.
I thought
I
she
agree.
looked like a younger version of what she would have looked like in the future. But everyone else that was still alive at this point, I didn't feel they did a good job. Yeah, I
Hmm.
really didn't. Um, but it was an interesting movie. Like I was paying attention, so it
What
was
would you
interesting.
thought? What's your thoughts on the red herrings that the movie had? As far as like, at one point they wanted to make you to believe that it was could be the killer could be the weird guy, the lurch guy they call him lurch. That's just kind of just like by itself, doesn't speak to no one. He's antisocial. Then there's always that red herring that it could be the lead singer of that band.
Yeah.
I always thought that it could have been him too. Um, what were your thoughts of the people that the suspects they thought it could have been?
I thought it was too predictable, honestly.
Did you
But
see who the killer was? Be without revealing.
I like okay, like I knew he was going to be involved somehow in the killings, but I didn't the original killer. I didn't really
Okay.
see that one coming. But the who came back and reinvented this killer, yeah, that's who I thought it was going to be the entire time. Just
You know, and I love that. I actually love that idea of this person, and it makes his reasoning or rationale behind it makes sense. It's no different than Billy Loomis and Stu Macher wanting to be famous
yeah,
for impinging on the father and be the final guys, so to speak, in a horror film. It's no different from that than this guy. His motivation. Spoilers at this point if you haven't seen it. His motivation was I gotta keep my get fresh content for my podcast.
yeah,
And he's always lived in the shadow of his father, who was the famous anchorman or weatherman or something. I don't know. Uh, which I thought it was interesting, but there's a plot hole I think that I don't understand, and I can't wait to get to it with you. But what were your thoughts on how they dealt with? Because she changed. In Back to the Future, Marty accidentally changes the course of history where uh, his parents don't get together. If they don't get together, he's never born, and it changes history. And here they said that no, well, history still will flow if your parents don't get together. Then it just means that you get back to your own time, and you're, pretty much
you're by
stranger. You
yourself.
by yourself. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, it was interesting, and I guess that would make more sense than not existing, But I went with it, you know. I went with it.
I mean, it's a easier time travel theory
Yeah,
than Endgame. Endgame, if you think about it, was pretty convoluted. Like the thoughts of how it worked. It was fun, but the idea of time travel was weird. But then if you think Back to the Future, but in my opinion, Back to the Future does it the best. Even though it's probably not actually how it would be, but it was fun. You know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love the line though. She says, "I've seen Endgame, but I was confused or I didn't understand." I think a lot of people, as far as the time travel aspect to that movie, was very confused.
hmm
But I don't know. I mean, it was a fun time. I mean, like I said, this concept was fun. It really is fun. It's just my issue is not with the time traveling. It's just with the characters don't have enough meat on them to
Yeah.
really get invested to these people.
Yeah.
You know,
I was going to ask you about this too. What were your thoughts on the tropes of what it was like, what life in the '80s was like? As far as like the first thing that you saw was like this woman, the complete strangers, like, "Oh yeah, I give you a ride to school," and she's
yeah,
like, "You're a stranger. I shouldn't get in the car with you. What if you're a serial killer?" She's like, "Will a serial killer wear this? Whatever." you know, Probably. But then like she got in the car with her, but then like the windows was up and there's cigarette smoke and the kids was getting secondhand contact.
Yeah,
That's the 80s, man.
it
It was
was
the 80s.
what I
It was
remember of
different.
it. Anyway, I was still a very small child, but yeah, I mean, we did. I do remember we did get in other people's cars that we didn't know, and they would give us a ride home or a ride to football practice or whatever. I mean, we trusted our neighbors back then. That is very accurate. So I thought that was accurate. That they trusted people back in the day. Where
Yeah, that's true.
today you don't trust anybody.
And then like also when she was like, she said, "Yeah, I'm a student here. I just transferred from like uh Canada, and I'm in 11th grade." And she's like, here's your syllabus. Go to class. You're late for gym class.
I think
You know,
that's accurate too, especially for that because they didn't keep records like that back in the
yeah,
day.
it wasn't that deep, man. Back
Yeah,
then, it's
and
like,
as far as the blood, the DNA, what's that?
yeah,
That was very
that's
accurate
funny.
too.
He just threw it to the ground. He's like, yeah,
Yeah,
whatever. This is nothing. Well, I'll put it in the worldwide DMA system. Brandon Parks is a very funny guy. People don't give him credits on his comedy. He is comic relief in this movie, but he's so funny when he plays the like lovable idiot that just doesn't know, because it's just like, but he ain't an idiot because back then it wasn't, those things didn't exist.
yeah,
He's like, no one ever killed people in this town, you know,
yeah,
or it's just like, it's just, he just a bit, he wasn't incompetent. It's just that he was for his time. It was within his time, man.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
No one had died or been murdered in that town before this three murder spree. Um, now, what did you actually when we get and when it's revealed the original killer, the
yeah.
reasoning? What did you think of that?
I thought it was interesting. So he was he was in love with what they call Fat Becky or something like that. I don't know if it's
Something.
the name. And the girl's not the mother. That's the redeeming quality. She wasn't there. She would never do that. She said it wouldn't been me. But the other girls got her drunk and got her to tell her secrets and stuff, and then upset her, and she drove home drunk, ended up getting in an accident and dying. And the killer was his her this nerd guy who, I thought, um the motivation, but also I noticed something. uh I noticed looking at it a second time, that that the I thought his motivation was, it makes sense, like why
Yeah,
he would do it. But I also noticed in the present day when he's talking to the young girl, the star of the movie, he says to her, your mother was always nice to me." Um, and I noticed him saying that, knowing that he's the killer,
yeah,
and it makes sense why he wouldn't have killed her, because she was always nice to him. She never treated him like less than or anything.
yeah.
And while the other people probably kind of mocked him, made fun of him, whatever. But you know, I thought that was interesting. But my thoughts is mainly that I understand why he did what he did. His motivation for it. You
There's
know.
also a very 80s motivated reason. Especially revenge. You know, I'm going to get the people who killed my woman, and you know, and that was basically it. So it's very simple. It's a very simplified movie for a complex idea. You know,
Well, what were your thoughts on the design of the Sweet 16 Killer?
it
If you think about
honestly,
him as a character, as him as a character, not like
honestly, like when I first saw the mask, I thought the mask was of Vanilla Ice. I swear, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool," because I saw a little teaser. Well, not even a teaser, but like like a picture of him. I was like, it kind of looks like Vanilla Ice. He's got, even got the earrings. He's like, so I was like, I was on board. I don't know if that was
On
on
purpose.
purpose, but to me, it looks like a Vanilla Ice mask, and I don't know, but I'm going with that, and I love it. I actually like the design of the killer. I like this design better than I did Happy Death Day. Like I
Yeah,
wasn't a big fan of Happy Death Day's design, but
yeah. The baby mask. The baby
yeah,
mask doesn't scare me. I think that this killer, the way this killer stalks his victims, and stuff like that, was very good, very
yeah,
menacing. Uh, and the mask remind me of a cross between Max Headroom, is the old '80s type of show, and like a surfer boy type of surfer dude mask. You know, uh, but it was an interesting mask. I thought that I thought his getup, his whole aura about him was pretty believable. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, but yeah, uh, but what I was gonna ask you about is, so they she's a race, her race against time. It's funny. It's not like in Back to the Future. They're looking at a picture, and as the people on the picture starts to disappear, that's when he's running out of time. But for her in this movie, it's her phone. Her phone battery
Yeah.
is that, like, she don't have, because there's no charger in the past. So if they utilize her battery to um to do the, to get her to time travel, if she don't get the battery done, then she's gonna be stuck in the past forever, or until, that'd be, I don't know, man. But what were your thoughts on that?
I mean, it was interesting. I didn't think too much about the phone, even though I do agree with you. But I always thought, well, if she gets stuck in the past, her best friend's mom will figure a way out to get her home. And I thought while watching it, maybe that's going to be like a cliffhanger that she does actually get stuck, kind of
Mm,
like in Back to the Future 2, how Marty got stuck in 1955. But obviously, they didn't go that direction because everything gets fixed and figured out, and they found out who the killer is, and what's his name comes back from the future, and and she has to fight him in the time machine at the end. But I I like the idea of the phone though.
yeah,
It was different, so I like that. I actually thought it was going to be the note. One day I'm coming for you. I forget what it's actually written on there, but I thought that was going to be fading, but it never
yeah.
did
Oh, that'd be interesting.
because it
And then
wasn't real.
also, yeah, yeah. And then another thing that was interesting too was, also, I love that the mom. It's revealed that the mom is a diehard sci-fi and horror fan, and like, you know, because she said, if you tell anybody, then I'm gonna do something to you or whatever. But yeah, like, those are her movies. So she had, uh, I think The Thing was there. Of course, there was watching RoboCop. There was, uh, Star Wars. Looks like, uh, Last Starfighter maybe. Um, it's just several other little little movies that was on there. What would you thought? Did you kind of see what was on display there?
No, I did not. That's I missed that completely.
You
Wait,
didn't see
what?
them watching RoboCop?
Mm-mm. Which part was this?
This is after she tells her that she's a psychic, and
Yeah, I remember that aspect, but I don't.
then the next scene was them going to the girl's house in her basement or whatever, watching
RoboCop.
RoboCop. It was the scene in the conference room where the big RoboCop thing is killing the board member. Um,
I just
but
I don't
where
remember
were
that.
you,
I
bro?
was I was watching it. I don't remember that scene though.
He was there. I thought Brandon for sure like yes.
I missed it.
Yeah, man, they showed RoboCop, and then like, but in the thing is, not only that, they showed a bunch of like VHS tapes, like sitting on top of the TV and VCR and stuff, and they were all like just different things, like maybe Indiana Jones was in there, just like little move
Yeah,
like movies, like then and some of them was horror stuff. I was like, oh man, like Scanners was on there. Like she had Scanners, a copy of Scanners. And I was like, man, I was like, she's a horror. She likes horror, you know. Um, but yeah, um, oh man, you missed it, bro. You had to
I
go back.
missed that scene. I did not see it. I don't know. Maybe I looked away for a minute because I'm like I don't recall that at
I
all. I
wish
remember
I,
the conference room though, the room you're talking about, but I don't remember them watching RoboCop.
yeah. Man, I can't.
And Aaron has left on purpose. He got so upset that I didn't see RoboCop. Nah, I don't know what's going on. But at this point, once you get revealed, device is not connected. Okay, Aaron's coming back. He's
Yeah,
back. He's right there. There he is.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to see if I can pull it up, but
He
uh,
disconnected.
yeah, that's what I did. But anyway, that's fine. But you have to go back at your leisure and look it up. But anyway, uh, we'll go ahead and so at the end we couldn't find out. So the killer was the one guy,
Yeah,
the nerd guy. But then like in the future, in the present, I mean, uh, the daughter got the time machine working there,
yeah,
and the guy, the killer, the podcaster comes back into '87 and continues the killing, like kills the girl in the funhouse, uh,
and kills his
and
dad.
and he then kills his dad, like literally, like stabbed him in the head, and which was like, oh man, uh, it's a ripple. That in itself is a ripple effect because this is a person that wasn't supposed to die, that is
Yeah,
now dead. Um, but yeah, um, and then like what they used to is the gravitron. I've never rode the gravitron. I'm aware of it though. Um,
yeah,
I never rode it, but uh, I've always been scared to ride it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't like the idea of going really fast and being stuck to the wall. So I don't know the aerodynamics inside the gravitron and how much you can actually do in there.
can't do much.
And so the third act final finale fight scene is you call BS.
Yeah, yeah, you can't do much on that. So yeah, I mean, it's fun. It was fun to watch it, but you, I don't believe you could have done all that while riding that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So my thoughts was also what so if so is it because she sent her back a day before? She sent her back on Halloween, like the day before or something like that, and I'm trying to try to warn her mom
yeah.
to stop it.
Hmm.
So is that why her mom was still alive when she got back to the present?
Well, well, that is a
That's
good
the only
thought.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
That's
I was wondering, like, cause the killer
well.
killed
Also,
his.
it changes his because it changes him too because he's now in India. That's
Yeah,
what. Yeah, he moved
that.
to India.
Yeah, and it's
So
like a month.
because
Yeah.
it traumatized him that he lost his dad in 1987. So it
Hmm.
changed him completely. So I would say that's why she's still alive.
Mm. But yeah, I was wondering about that. So yeah, I was curious about that. So, but also in this timeline, she kills the killer, and then in this new timeline, she gets back, and I love how she embraces the friends, the mom and the daughter. But I
Yeah,
think that her and the mom is going to be honestly more closer friends than her and the daughter, because they kind of went through some things together. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Um, but yeah, but and then I love that the relationship between the parents is. It reminded me of Marty, Jordan McFly, and Lorraine's relationship in the end of Back to the Future. Like
hmm,
they were kind of more romantic towards one another and affectionate. You know, uh, and uh, and I love that. I love that aspect as well.
yeah,
But yeah, but she also has a brother named Jamie
yep.
because her name now is Colette or Colleen or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't really care for that aspect, but it is what it is. She's got a brother who's gay with a child. I think that's what it said at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
I it just I don't know. It was just there. I mean, I don't know. It's just they just
I
put it.
guess.
I guess it was. I don't know if it was supposed to be like a gag on something or what, but
I
it
guess
didn't.
they're
It
saying
didn't
that
feel right.
they changed the past
Yeah,
uh,
they changed it.
because they literally they got together pretty immediately and had a baby in high school, and that baby is named Jamie, not the Jamie that we know, but the Jamie that is
Yeah.
the brother. Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. I think that this movie would it get a sequel. Uh, I don't
Well,
see how unless there's no reason for the journalist to the podcaster rather to come back and be a killer because he's not even remotely interested in the Sweet 16 killer.
yeah.
Um, I don't see it getting a sequel. I think this is a one and done type of movie. Your thoughts?
I mean, I don't know where you would go with it because it didn't really leave any room for a sequel at all. Like Back to the Future led. You knew you were getting a sequel with that if it did well, and it did amazing. So this didn't leave room for one. And where would you go? Your mission was complete. Your story wrapped up. I mean, there's really nowhere to go.
Hmm.
So I mean, there's
Yeah, there's
no
no.
there's nothing to tell. They finished the story. So it's
Yeah,
a cool idea. I mean, would I want a sequel? Maybe, but there's no reason for it. You would just be
also,
doing it to do it.
there's a time machine left in '87 somewhere.
Yeah.
Like the photo
I
booth
mean, you
time
could do
machine
a
is there.
sequel, but it probably wouldn't have anything to do with, this particular story. Someone could find the time machine and you can go in that direction, I guess. But it wouldn't be a horror film or a horror comedy. It would to be something completely different.
Yeah, it would be. Um. All right. Well, that's. Are you ready to give your numbers, your marks?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 on the markout meter. I thought it was a good time. I had fun with it. It has some flaws, but overall I I wasn't bored watching it, and I love the concept. It wasn't fleshed out with
Mm-hmm.
some of the characters, but it's still a decent time, especially for a streaming straight to streaming. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like this could have probably done pretty good at the box office if it had been released in theaters. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know though. It does give me that Happy Death Day feel, but it's different than Happy Death Day, and I'm glad it was different because that's what I was worried about. It's like, is this just gonna be kind of a rip off of Happy Death Day to You? Because that dealt with a
Mm,
little time travel as well, but it wasn't, and I'm glad it wasn't.
mm.
So
I'm gonna give it 3.5 markouts out of 5. It's gotta go a little higher. I thought it was fun. I thought that the mother, the young mom, was great. The actress that plays the lead, Jamie.
hmm
I just realized it's probably a riff on Jamie Lee Curtis too. So, but I love that I think she was very compelling. I love that she brings her modern Gen Z logic into like the 1980s, and the 80s is not PC at all,
no,
you
no,
know. And I love it, like it's a shell shock for her to just experience like how we grew up, like with like dodgeball and, and everything. I love that.
yeah, that was
Uh,
fun.
it was like dodgeball was tough, but I played more in the '90s because I was born in 1980, but I grew up. I did all that stuff in the '90s. Um, but yeah, I love that. I love that that was the aspect of. I love the slash. I love the killer, the serial killer guy, the Sweet 16 killer. I thought that I wish it could be a little bit more menacing, and I thought that his kills could have been a little bit more because it's hard to if you're gonna call yourself a slasher, it's hard to come in that lane after Ghostface. And I say that because I think Ghostface is now the king of the slashers because he's how menacing that character is as far as how they are now.
Yeah,
Joker says, you all going to SoundCon? I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't either, to be honest.
So that's a no. I didn't know that was a thing. Um, but yeah, my point was like, yeah, the slashers, you have, you know, Myers, of course. You have the people, but uh, Shaka and these nuts. Nope. Uh,
I feel like you're asking him to
that's
solve your
that's
nuts, Joker. That's just how it sounds to me.
yeah,
I think your
yeah. I
wife would
don't.
want you to keep them nuts, but who do
Maybe
I
she
know? What
don't.
do I know?
Maybe she prefers someone else's nuts. I'm not sure. But
Hey,
anyway,
hey, you can't be going. Come on now, you can't be
but anyway,
saying that.
but
She
anyway,
prefers someone else's. What's wrong with you?
these pretzels are making me thirsty. Anyway, uh,
A lot's probably making you thirsty.
yeah, it is. But but no, I thought that I don't know. I thought the killer could have came a little bit more correct as far as like his kills. Uh, but yeah, other than that, I really enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Yeah, I had a good time. I would say there was one kill towards the end where you could tell it was really CG when he was stabbing her. It didn't look good. Like
Mm.
they obviously had a budget here, but I I didn't like that. It
The
kind of
best
took
one
me
was
out
the
of it.
cabin. To me, the best one was the cabin kills. The
Yeah,
cabin kill was the best one for me.
this one wasn't at the cabin. I don't think. I
It
think
was in
this
the
was like the
funhouse.
last girl
Yeah,
because you could
yeah,
tell he was swinging, and it was in her. It it looked like it was so CGI'd.
yeah.
It just didn't look good.
But
But
what's your pick next week?
it's on Amazon Prime, Joker. Amazon Prime. My pick next week. Okay, we're not doing a movie. I wanted to do this versus mode that I've been talking about with you personally. Um, since we're coming off Halloween, I'm gonna do John Carpenter versus Wes Craven. We're gonna dissect both careers and give our thoughts on who we think who is truly the master of horror.
I like that. Okay, all right, that'll be fun. Uh, but yeah, so I can watch whatever I want. I've been watching for those. I've been watching Black Mirror again. Uh, it's been fun. I hadn't really watched a lot of horror this season. I watched some, but I watched this one that's really bad. It's called what is it called?
Sloth.
Slaughterhouse. It's so stupid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
It's
remember you
about
telling me about that. And
it's about a killer sloth. It's so dumb.
yeah, and I was like, oh, I like that twist. And I send you a GIF of Sloth from the Goonies.
No, it'd been better. But no, and then also I watched the very end of Cobwebs. I didn't see the whole movie. I seen just the tail end because Jackie was on TV for some reason, and I was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Oh, it seems interesting," but I heard it had bad things. Oh, what is this, Joker? Uh, it's, John Carpenter just wants to listen to heavy metal for an interview he had a few years back. He said he made the first Halloween and doesn't care about the rest of them. Just enjoy the royalties. Uh,
I'd enjoy those
yeah,
royalties too.
he said that, but also he made the first one. He didn't technically direct the second one, but he went in and reshot some stuff. Um, but that's why the second one is kind of disjointed a bit. Which when we reviewed the whole Halloween series, which I don't think I will ever again and anytime soon watch all of them ever again like that. It's just now I'll be more apt to watch the Screams again because I actually really enjoy those. Um, and they're still innovating. But John, man, and watching his new stuff, I don't know, man. John's retired. That's why I feel, man. I feel John's retired. I think he's done.
I mean, he's been done. I mean, I think the last movie he did was The Ward,
The word,
which,
yeah.
which I think was 2010. So, I mean, he looks like he's done. Like he looks like he'll come and compose something, but I, I think he's just burned out of Hollywood. You know,
Hmm.
he doesn't have that drive anymore, and he's what in his 70s, 80s. I mean,
He's got to be 80 something, man.
he deserves to be retired. I mean, he's earned
Yeah.
it. Give him his
I think that
flowers.
his new show on Peacock is pretty much an anthology that has his name, and I think he does introductory type of narration, but then like but it's I don't know how much he actually shoots or how much creative he has. I think it's funny because he's pretty much have adopted the Wes Craven approach to things, where what is this?
West-
Carpenter's Thing versus Wishmaster. That's two
That's
different movies. And
that's not fair
Carpenter's
either. That's
yeah,
not fair.
Thing is a masterpiece. Wishmaster's fun, but Wishmaster is not in the same bracket as yeah. They're not the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even know. I don't even think did Wes even do anything like monsters related. I mean, I know. I don't know. I don't recall him ever doing anything with monsters.
They Live versus Serpent and Rainbow. Same thing applies. Serpent and Rainbow. I don't. So They Live is more science fiction, and
Hmm.
Serpent and Rainbow is more suspenseful. But it has some horror elements. But if you ask me, They Live is a better movie. I would rather watch They Live. You give me Roddy Piper any day
I haven't
over
seen
over
Serpent and the
Brian
Rainbow.
was it Brian Pullen? Uh, the dude that played the president in what is it Independence Day? That guy,
Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman. Yeah,
Yeah.
Shocker is a monster flick. Shocker Shocker, okay. Shocker is pretty much the premise of
For Jason Goes to Hell.
Jason Goes to Hell. It's the same premise.
Yeah.
It's just, it's just,
They ripped off Shocker.
Yeah.
They did.
So the Shocker predate
Oh yeah,
that one?
that's the
Okay.
80s. I'm almost certain
Oh,
that was
Shocker's
done in the 80s.
90s. I thought
Is
I
it?
thought I felt Shocker's is 90s.
Oh, it must be. It was before Jason Goes to Hell. That I know that.
Jessica Hill's 95, maybe?
93.
93, okay. Shocker had to be like 91. 90, 91.
Yeah.
So both of them are terrible movies. Both of them are equally bad movies. Shocker is less bad. All right, so which one's 89?
It's not Jason Goes to Hell because 89 was Jason Takes Manhattan, I believe.
Shocker's 89?
It would it would have to be.
Jason 93, okay. Jason 93.
See, I was
Uh,
right. It was in the 80s.
I didn't realize it felt like that transition by the 90s. But it's just they're both bad movies. Both weren't worth your time. Neither one of them was worth your time. I remember hating Jason Goes to Hell so bad. But we can talk about this next week because it'd be fun. Although Jason Goes to Hell is not a Wes Craven film.
No, Sean Cunningham produced, which I think Sean Cunningham had a lot to do with the Shocker. He worked with Wes in several movies as a
Mm-hmm.
producer. So he
But
ripped off Wes. He ripped off John. He's ripped off everybody. But somehow
mm,
created Jason in the process. It makes me so mad.
mm.
Guy
did
had
he
no
did,
talent.
did he get
And
the
somehow
rights? Who got the rights to Jason?
he's got the rights to adult Jason. Victor's got the rights to Camp Crystal Lake and the original film.
King versus Carpenter would be a better comparison. Well, I don't know. King's writing. Would you say King's adaptations?
I mean, if we're
Because
gonna do King, I feel you gotta do it as an author, and
I
it would be versus Dean Koontz. I think he's number two.
would
But
say
I
you could
haven't
do
read
you could do
enough
King.
Dean
Yeah,
Koontz
me
to
neither.
really do a proper episode there.
Yeah, I would say that it could be King's books or novels versus the adaptations. That'd be an interesting one day where you can because like The Shining is different from Kubrick Shining, and it's an argument as to which one is better. I
Yeah,
would, yeah, I like both of them, but I love what Kubrick did, but I also like what King did. And then same with like a lot of those others. But I haven't read. I did Shining, uh, that one that I told you about. I forget what it is. It's like where the kid sees dead people. I forget what it is, but that one. And I did a couple other like of his things, the sale, but it'd be an interesting one though. Yeah, that would be a good one, especially since he had several made for TV miniseries. Yeah, like Langoliers, uh,
he's
Night
getting a remake.
Flyer. Oh, I didn't know that. And then
Yeah,
they've been trying to remake Salem's Lot, but I'm not. I'm. I didn't like Salem's Lot. I think I read a little bit of the book, and I didn't really get into it. And I watched the movie or this miniseries, and I didn't like it. And I didn't like the one with Rob Lowe either. I don't. I don't recall if I seen that one. I
I
did
haven't
like
seen.
Rose Red, but
I like
I
Rose
don't.
Red, but I have never seen Salem's Lot. Never. I haven't read the book either. I just know it's about vampires. And I thought that would be an interesting concept for Stephen King, but I think he deals. I think he does a so much better job with just normal
Yeah.
people and
Uh,
normal situations.
well, well, we're gonna go ahead and end this podcast.
Brandon Spivey.
Thank you for marking out with us.